July 1936. The Spanish Civil War erupts, and the streets of Valencia quickly descend into violent chaos. Hours before the cathedral is looted and burned, a disguised woman smuggles an ancient agate cup out, wrapped in newspaper. She was risking her life to protect an artifact that millions of people consider to be the actual Holy Grail. People are willing to face firing squads for this relic today. Yet, if you look for it in the Bible, you will find absolutely nothing. The Holy Grail does not appear anywhere in the Gospels. Early church records, papal decrees, and letters from the first apostles leave it completely unmentioned. For the first 1,000 years of Christianity, the religion's most famous relic is entirely absent from the historical record, which raises a rather massive question. When did it actually show up? To find the Grail, we have to stop digging in the dirt for a physical cup and start tracking the paper trail of a literary forgery. The trail starts in 12th century France with a poet named Chrétien de Troyes and his chivalric romance, Percival. Chrétien introduces the object, but he doesn't capitalize the word. He refers to it simply as a grail, not the Holy Grail. In the 12th century, a grail was a common household item. It was a wide, shallow serving dish, typically used to bring fish to the table during a feast. Chrétien died before finishing his poem. Shortly after, another writer named Robert de Baron took over the narrative and gave that secular serving dish a divine promotion. De Baron merged ancient Celtic myths of magical cauldrons with Christian theology, declaring that this specific dish was actually the cup Jesus used at the Last Supper. With a single authorial decision, the myth is born. A domestic food platter is permanently forged into Christianity's ultimate relic. But the lore was entirely dependent on whoever was holding the pen. In 1210, German poet Wolfram von Eschenbach abruptly contradicted the established cup narrative. Wolfram's Grail is not a vessel at all. It is a lapis exilis, a glowing, magical stone fallen from heaven. He wove in esoteric lore, claiming this stone was guarded by the neutral angels who refused to take sides during Lucifer's celestial rebellion. These glaring contradictions show that the Grail was never a fixed historical truth. It was a highly malleable plot device, molded to fit whatever specific story an author wanted to tell. The most drastic alteration to the myth came in the 15th century, thanks to a massive mistranslation by English writer John Harding. The original Old French term for the Holy Grail was Saint Graal. Harding simply shifted the space between the letters, changing the syntax to read Sang Real. This single linguistic typo spawned an enduring conspiracy theory that Jesus and Mary Magdalene had children, the exact premise that would eventually anchor the Da Vinci Code. Centuries of elaborate, esoteric bloodline conspiracies rely entirely on one medieval writer's inability to correctly parse a French noun. Eventually, these literary inventions bled off the page and began to alter actual physical history. Seeking funding and a boost in morale, monks at Glastonbury Abbey faked the graves of King Arthur and Guinevere to legitimize their local connection to the Grail romances. In Italy, the Crusaders proudly displayed a green glass dish known as the Sacro Catino inside Genoa Cathedral. They had looted it under the firm belief that it was a solid emerald grail. That delusion held strong until Napoleon conquered the city, broke the dish, and proved it was merely glass. Empires, armies, and holy orders spent centuries building monuments, fighting wars, and dying for an object that was, in reality, a literary ghost. The historical record leaves little room for doubt. The Holy Grail was never a physical artifact pulled from antiquity. Instead, it operates as a cultural mirror. It perfectly reflects the deepest desires and anxieties of whatever era happens to be looking into it. For Celts, it offered survival. For Crusaders, divine forgiveness. For modern society, a secret bloodline hiding in plain sight. Which brings us back to that dark corridor in 1936, and the woman risking her life for the Valencia chalice. She was protecting an object with no historical link to the Last Supper, but the Holy Grail proves that humanity doesn't require historical truth to find profound meaning. We just need a beautiful story.